I do think that we have an inner genie or inner genius, each of us, and they're all different. And each one of us, I believe, has something unique, something that nobody else has and nobody else ever will have. The situation that usually occurs in most people's lives in the culture we have is we don't know that and we don't stay in touch with it. We get out of touch with it. It looks like to me, and I kind of hate to say this, it looks like it's intentional that we live in a culture that does not want us to be in touch with who we really are because we can't be used. We can't be a cog in their machine. Um, so we have a certain kind of education. We have certain social rules to follow. We have a religion where we memorize the truths laid down by the avatars. Um, and as long as we follow the rules and be good, we think we've had a worthwhile life. But unless, this is the way I look at it, unless we find that eccentric thing in ourselves that really is why we were born, we miss the whole point. We actually come into this world with something, some kind of intelligence, some kind of sensitivity, some kind of talent, some kind of genius. And our culture will measure our IQ and our memory and our ability to earn certain degrees and certifications, and then we're considered successful. There's another thing going on, though, I really believe, and that is there's a mandate from a deeper part of us. I don't know what you would call it. You would call it maybe your soul. You might call it your genius. You might call it your talent. But you have some kind of native intelligence that may have more to do with your sensitivity than it does with what is measurable by our society. That puts you in a position where you can have the the relationship with that part of yourself, which is the most natural part of yourself that exists, you can have that severed. And when it is, you're lost. By the time you've gone through all of the tests and jumped all the hurdles and done it all right and become what your society wanted you to be, you can reach middle age or later and wonder what the hell it was all about. You can fall into a depression and feel like it was all for naught. Well, how do we deal with a situation like that? Um, a mentor would help. I think as children grow up, they do need someone with the eyes to see who they really are and help bring it out. A mentor could recognize you've got something. this something. I can sense what it is. I can see flashes of it. And I can help you bring that forth. What you need to do is put these other things aside and not get distracted and not get wrapped up in trying to be like everybody else, not worrying about whether you are passing the grade, whether you're approved of, but to get on this pathless path that if you stay close to your instincts, you can actually find why you were born and what you're supposed to be doing. You have a certain energy, and that energy will constitute a calling. And no matter what, even if you refuse to listen, it's going to be calling you up until your last day. It won't stop. And if you refuse to listen, you're going to set up a conflict in yourself that will give you a lot of ailments, a lot of pain, a lot of confusion. But once you get on your path, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that. It has its own strictures, it has its own challenges, but it's yours. That's what's important. And your soul needs to, it's a seed planted in you that needs to grow and flourish. You're the only one that can shine the light on it, can water it, and make sure that it grows. Nobody else can do that. Yes, children do need some help, and the kind of education we give them is absolutely the wrong thing for most of us. I belong to the artist class, and I'm very aware of, I can't tell you how many people have told me, I was told when I was a child, I was too sensitive. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist. Being too insensitive probably does exist, at least in my opinion. But too sensitive, I think what people, parents, maybe teachers might worry about there is it looks like it's fragility. It looks like insecurity. And if you persist in feeling that way, you will be vulnerable out in the cruel world and you will fail. You have to be tough. Yeah, maybe so, but maybe not. It seems to me that what we need in our present situation is realize we're swimming upstream because our culture is flowing in the wrong direction. If you want to be yourself, it's it doesn't encourage it. It's got a concept of what you should be, and you'll be graded on how well you perform in the tasks that they set for you. But for a lot of us who may look eccentric or who may look like outsiders, we kind of have to put aside all the worries about whether we fit in or not and do what feels true to us, do what feels important. And I'm talking about feeling. Now we can analyze the situation and we can say, this is the safest path. I'll be able to make a living. And those are not totally negligible questions, but they don't address the real issue of why we're alive. And I think that if we don't address that, we've failed. That's what failure is, in my opinion. So that's my little sermon for tonight.